guys.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Are you
Hey,
there?
hey, sorry I'm late. I'm trying to get there. We go.
We're trying to find something to talk about.
We were just sitting here like, oh, we were playing music.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had to have, I'm totally disheveled. I was in rush hour coming back. Let me plug this in to make sure. It's an old computer and I want to make sure that I don't run out of any power. I had an emergency doctor's appointment.
Oh no, are you okay?
Yes, I have problems unfortunately, with my back, and it's just because of all the I beat it up over the years. You're talking about 60 some years of being a tomboy.
You
And
said we've learned you're a tomboy. We have learned you're over 60.
yeah,
Or we.
Or we.
I'm really on the far side too. That doesn't stop me from doing all kinds of things,
It's not the years, it's the mileage, and maybe that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but I'm one of those people that I've not only been active, I'm trying to get my computer to settle down here and give me a chance to, let me do something else. I am so sorry. You're like riding the ship.
Well, I'm just sorry about your back. I want to hear how your back is doing. In fact, we were just going to ask you today how you were doing. We always have things to talk about. We said, well, it's Diane. If she has anything to talk, we always have stuff we can talk about. Like Todd's got his little pride thing on and all that. But we thought, what does she want to talk about? So we want to hear about your back.
No, this just came up. I actually had a telephone appointment with my provider. And she said, oh, you got to get in here. We got this thing for you. And it turns out they're kind of a holistic and medical group. It's supervised by an MD. And then she is a nurse practitioner, and she's wonderful. And
Right.
she said, Diane, you got to get in here. You're in so much pain. Just get in here and we can give you these special shots. And they're non-steroidal. And sure enough, I said, okay, I'm going in. And this was at 3:15. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to be coming home in rush hour. Hopefully I can make it by 5:15. And so here I am. But I'm one of those people, I mean, seriously, one of the best stories I have about my life, which is kind of sums it up, is when I went to Italy, Milan, with Mark. And we were going to make, it was a work trip for him, but he had plenty of time to also do the sightseeing thing and eating out. And the second day I was there, we went to this medieval castle. It was a real life castle from the medieval era. And there was this fabulous, first off, they had Michelangelo there, the statue. And I thought, we're seeing this, And we also had this beautiful museum in the castle that had all this art and sculpture. So I said, well, let's go see that first, and then we'll see the statue of him second. And I should say it was Statue of David by Michelangelo.
Right, it's the David statue, the very famous David statue, right?
You got to see this. We're in Italy, and
right.
How often do you get the chance to see the real thing? So anyway, while we're in this museum, you know how you're watching the walls as you walk along? Well, lo and behold, all of a sudden I hear Mark go, sweetheart, watch out. And I spun around, and right next to me was a set of stone steps. And I went flying over those steps, landed in a crouch on my feet with one hand beside me. And I thought, that was a graceful landing. And everyone's kind of going, in place. And second day of vacation, story short, I broke my wrist and my foot.
On that fall you did? You broke your wrist and your foot on that fall?
Right. Second day of vacation. So I have to go to a hospital the next day because I'm in excruciating pain. But get this, of course I'm limping in pain the rest of the the castle thing, and I told Mark, I said, we are seeing that statue. It's in a
That is
different
my
building.
witness.
It's in a different building. And I'm like, I am not leaving. I don't care how much pain I'm in. We are seeing that statue, you know.
Did you see the statue?
Oh, yeah. So
You
we
did.
saw the statue, and then next day I couldn't walk, and you know, I had to go to the hospital. But so that's my life. So then there are the falls, you know, there are all these falls, and I have from that the residual back pain that I deal with constantly now.
Man.
So
So did this fall, was this sort of the genesis of your back pain? Is what started it?
yeah, oh yeah, I have fallen on my chest. I have fallen on my butt so many times I can't even tell you. And as a matter of fact, I have discovered, because on the trails, I have fallen on my butt in the red mud so many times. I finally figured out that to wash your jackets and get the red mud out, you use the Mr. Clean sponges. I know that very well now, just from falling on my butt on the trails.
So when you fall on your butt, Mr. Clean sponges. You probably should take your pants off first.
You know, I
You
have
leave
a,
the pants
Yeah, when you
on.
fall
When you
naked.
fall, do you leave the pants on, or do you take them off first before you? I just
I leave them on. And I get this, I wear a white ski jacket. So the white on the cuffs and the elbows and everything. And I thought, oh, what in the world am I going to do with this? So I got home. And of course, you got to fire up the washing machine before this sets in there. And I washed it one time and I went, oh my God, what am I going to do here? And I thought, Mr. Clean Sponge.
what else? What else did you do?
Yeah,
And that worked? And that worked?
But it works. So that became my best friend in the winter on the trails. in
So
the mud.
you're one of those people that wash your clothes the second they get dirty.
Yeah.
We're not.
We're not.
Not normally.
Oh my God, one of
Yeah.
those people. Oh my God.
I'm telling you guys, I'm telling
Oh
you,
my
I have
God, you're one of those.
I've broken the 1 foot twice. I've broken my wrist
Lord.
3 times. I mean, I fall. Mark's like, when I broke my rib at Thanksgiving and ended up in the hospital for 2 days, Mark was like, you know, I just figured out that this is the 6th time we've been to this emergency room.
You get frequent flyer points, man. You get like a card for every visit. You get stamped. Oh, you've been here 6 times. You get a discount on your.
You know, the little clicker.
Yeah. Oh, you get a card.
She
Oh,
falls a lot. I fall
so
a lot too, but
Todd falls a lot.
I don't go to the emergency room every time I fall.
So do you? So first of all, how's your back now? Are you okay now? If you got these?
Oh, these shots work wonders.
Oh yeah.
And they're non-steroidal. They don't last forever.
What oil are they? What kind of oil?
It's like a lidocaine, injectable lidocaine.
Yeah.
Only it's not called lidocaine, but they inject them right into the nerve where you're feeling the pain. And with me, it's not just in one spot, you know.
That doesn't sound fun. Like they just put that's probably not a fun thing, is it?
No.
Oh no, for me, I'm so used to this because of all the times I've
frequent flyers, yeah, all your points.
Oh, you don't even have to numb me. It's just like, just stick it in.
I don't do it.
This is good. I'm gonna go home and wash this with Mr. Clean sponges anyway.
Yeah,
So
just go ahead. And I just showed Mark when I got home. I said, see, and he goes, oh yeah. See, you know, I had probably 20 injections.
So you're not. Ow. So today you had 20 injections?
Yeah, I probably had 20.
Today?
My back was just trash. I could hardly walk. I was in such pain. And she just said, if you can get in here by 3:45, and then the injections took probably 45 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I'm hitting the road. I got to be.
20 injections. So she was doing like an injection every 2 minutes. Boom, boom.
Yeah, she was just constantly. And to me, because of the muscle spasm, it just feels so good for that needle to get in there and just relax that muscle. So No, I'm a pro at those. In fact, when I go to the doctor, they're going, well, let us numb you up. I'm like, don't bother. Just
Don't even bother.
needles in there.
Well,
I'm
glad you're feeling better, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm doing fine.
Todd's not falling off the edge of the picture, is he? Is he like falling off the edge of the picture?
You guys,
When I get close to him, he starts getting further and further away. I don't know.
No.
You
But
know,
anyway, guys, I'm really speechless about what's happening in the country.
Oh, yeah, you always have an opinion on that. So I
Oh,
figured
God.
right now
Go ahead and
we
say
figured
it.
we were like
Say
I
it.
figured that's what we just kind of figured out. What is Diane's opinion of? I mean, I don't start. To be honest with you.
Well, remember what I said last time? It's an S show. Well, who knew it could get worse?
It got essier.
I think what's going on.
I don't know.
End times here. I don't even know what to say. It's just so crazy, and the man from Florida is over the rails.
The DeSantis guy.
My God, what he is trying so hard to become. Well, he's an authoritarian in Florida now. The
Right.
man runs Florida.
So, because you hear so much crap now, I heard this somewhere right now that there's actually a proposal on the Republican-run DeSantis House in Florida to do away with the Democratic Party. That they want to
Sure.
They want to dissolve it and just to get rid of it altogether. That's their solution to solving the problem. Is just dissolve the Democratic Party, and that there's actually a vote that they could take about that. And that the fact they're even thinking about that,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
Have you heard that? Or I mean, you never know what's true now.
Oh goodness, they disdain the Democratic Party so much, it's unbelievable. And they're replacing Democrats in office in their functions. They're just basically kicking them out of the functions they've been appointed to. And this is DeSantis. He is a total authoritarian.
Right.
He basically does what he wants. And right now, his big thing is kicking out any Democrats who are in any kind of a functional office, kicking them out and putting in a Republican. He's
Right.
replacing them all in the functions of the government.
Right. They're basically what they've done is I saw a poll that said they've just sort of created this sort of us and them. And so we've got to, it doesn't even matter they don't even know what they believe anymore. I saw somebody who took a poll and they asked that, what is the most important thing to the Republicans? And an overwhelming number, like 59%, was just to beat the Democrats. That's their goal. They don't, it's not like climate change or infrastructure or anything like healthcare, education, any of the big problems that are, the race relations. Just beat the Democrats. That's all we care about. We just want to beat them.
Own the libs.
Right.
That is their goal.
Yeah, they just want to beat them. They don't know why. They just have created this sort of us and them, sort of they're bad, they're woke. We got this anti-woke thing going there. So they just want to beat. So it's just kind of almost like spiteful, it's fascism, basically.
Yeah, it is spiteful. I'm sorry, guys. I am trying to get this to stand up, and it's kind of
fine. We're okay over here. It's like
I know you're okay.
It's like I feel like those science fiction shows where the ship gets hit and there's like that's what it looks like for you. We can do it too. We can.
This is not good.
God,
this is not good. All of a sudden, this thing I'm always putting it in the same place, but all of a sudden it just will not behave. Okay, let's try that.
Maybe it feels a little
shaky. I have luck with that.
Maybe it feels a little shaky about what's going on in the world too. Maybe it's a metaphor for what's going on. Your camera is feeling the shakiness in the world.
Oh, I'm trying to shake it up.
Trying to shake it up a little bit.
I'm trying to shake it up. Well, but the other thing that I thought, I know we don't have a lot of time today, but I thought your opinion would be very valid. I'd love to hear from you guys. I am reading so much about AI and how frightened everybody is about it.
Asking.
AI stands for artificial intelligence, right? I'm just kidding. I know it's.
That's
okay. Oh, no. So, okay, so we kind of talked about this a little bit last time. So this seems to be a hot topic for you and a lot of other people, like my sister, who's a teacher but not a techie. You know, I got all the tech genes. She didn't. In fairness, though, she got all the sports genes. So I think, I don't know who got the better end of the deal. When we were younger, I was very jealous. As we got older, I think we switched roles. But anyway, she's been texting me like, is AI really taking over the world? Is it gonna? So, you know, I'm a technologist. I'm into technology, as you know. I have an electrical engineering degree from Georgia Tech. I have a technology blog, biologyoftechnology.com. Go look it up. And shameless plug. But so when you say AI is taking over the world, this is broad thing. What does that mean to you? I want to kind of find out where your head is. What are you thinking? Because I could approach it from several vectors. What do you mean by that?
To me, it means that we're going to have all around us robotic intelligence that is able to create its own increase in intelligence, that it will be able to create its own progression.
Okay.
And how it understands things, how it learns, and it will get to the point where at some point it will be autonomous.
Right.
It will have its own world and own power. All
right. So what they call that is, and you may have heard this term before, they call that the singularity. Have you heard that term before?
Mm-mm.
All right. So in the AI world, the people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Stephen Hawking, they call this the singularity. And this is the way this works. Is let's suppose I create AI version 1.0. All right. And I can give it instructions and I can even tell it, hey, AI 1.0, write code to make a better Skype program. Right. So it has the ability to write programs. So I finally say, hey, AI 1.0, write a better version of yourself. And it creates 2.0 better version of itself. So then we start using 2.0, which does things better and faster and quicker. And I say, hey, 2.0, make a 3.0. But somewhere along the way, then it does it faster and quicker. And each time, each iteration, it makes faster and faster. That's what it's called a singularity. You know, singularity in nature is something that's compressed down where everything happens at once. Well, the singularity is when AI gets so intelligent, it just starts making better versions of itself so fast. Like we can only make better versions of humans because we're biologically kind of limited, you know, right? That takes teaching, but an AI can make a better version of itself in a few minutes, and then maybe in a few seconds, and before long, it's made such a better version of itself that it's better than us. It's more, and that's called the singularity. When the AI gets to the point where it's created the ultimate better version of itself. Now, that singularity right now in our lifetime, we're not anywhere close to that, right? All right. So in AI world, the AI that you're talking about, you know, you've heard of Chat GPT. As a writer, you know how you can go to Chat GPT and you can say, hey, write me an article on, you know, home decorations, and you know, it can write something out, you know, that's pretty decent. It's not something you'd want to publish, but it'd be something like a junior grad student would write, then you'd have to kind of spice it up and make it interesting. But it would save you a lot of time as a writer, you know. That's called narrow AI. It's something you can chat with. The other one is called broad or wide AI, and that is this intelligence we're talking about. So do you know in science fiction when, like, I don't know, you're probably not a big science fiction person. Did you ever watch Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Oh yeah.
So you know Data, the AI that was in there, remember Data? He's broad AI. He's an autonomous AI. You know, we don't right now, based on the knowledge we have, we don't have anything close to that. You know, that's not saying they're not working on it, but we're not close to that. You know,
And the concern is that once it starts rolling, it's going to just keep coming on so fast that we won't be able to keep up with it.
We won't be able to stop it. It will become like self-aware, and so.
Self-generating, gee, I think now I'll become the smartest thing on the planet and I'll kill you, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's the fodder for every science fiction, from Terminator to The Matrix, even back, you know, you've seen all these movies, even going back to HAL, Space 1999. Sorry.
You know, all of us our age.
Remember
HAL.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dave. I
that
can't.
Was so frightening.
It's highly irregular, Dave. Please open the pomade door towel. I'm sorry, Dave.
Good morning, Dave. You know that.
Good morning, Dave. Yeah, everybody has that horrid, like that sterile, the voice
that never changes.
Sorry,
I'm
Dave.
going to kill you now, Dave. You know?
I'm going to kill you. I'm sorry, Dave. I think you know why, Dave.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I wanted to, if I could just interject something really quick. I wanted to talk about just briefly a story I read about Chat GPT, where, and you may have heard about this, a lawyer used it to write a brief in court. And the judge kicked him out and said, man, if you can't come back with something that's more, that fits this case better, I don't even want you coming back.
yeah, I think I heard about this. So, but did he? I was trying to. I don't think I read the article, but I read a tweet about it or something. Synopsis where this guy used ChatGPT to write a brief. But I think here's the thing about ChatGPT. Like I use it. I have a ChatGPT account. We also, and I think I told you before, me and my company, we use and I'll just give a shameless plug here. We also pay for an AI service called Jasper, right? And so me and Todd doesn't use it, but me and the other guys on my team, we use it because it's a paid service. ChatGPT is it's free still right now. You can get a paid version of it. But the thing people need to realize is like, I've asked it some questions like, can you help me write an article? Like I write an article for a client about something, we wrote an article and this client knows we use AI. I got a client who rents pontoon boats. I said, could you help us write an article about the safety and fun of pontooning? And it listed out some really cool ideas. It really, yeah. And they were cool, but they were things you could never publish. They're boring, they're lifeless. And so if this guy walked in with just print out ChatGPT, it was probably very shallow. When
you've got a client who's paying you and something in his life is on the line with this courtroom thing, and you've got to be kidding.
But what I do go, and I've heard about some lawyers doing this, is they'll use GPT or another AI like Jasper to do their first draft, and a lot of our people are saying that saved them time. And so lawyers, writers, which I know is your sector, are like that. A lot of people are saying this is actually not a bad thing. One of the things that can help you do is overcome block or come up with some ideas. I say you need to think about AI right now as like a junior undergrad student that you've hired to help you do research. Think about that. So if you gave that student an assignment, say you wanted to write an article about, the many things you wrote articles about, and you wanted them to do research, you would give them and they would go put together some research for you. Well, you would never publish that, right? But you could use it. You could use it to kind of get you started. You could use it to get you, it may probably become some good information. It saves you a lot of time, right? From having to do all this research and legwork and stuff. That's what ChatGPT is at right now. That's what they are right now. At this point of they're like a good assistant and not a perfect one, by the way, I might add. They make mistakes.
Yeah.
You need to think about that too. So I think a lot of people right now who are like ChatGPT is going to take over writing or lawyers. Right now, it's not mature enough. Could it get there? I don't know.
Yeah, I saw an editorial cartoon where there's a boss who's letting go an employee who happens to be a writer. And the boss is saying, look, we've got AI taking over your job. And then in the next segment of the cartoon, it's got AI as the boss, AI the writer. So it's got two AIs doing that job of that department.
Right.
And I thought, when I was a corporate writer on site, I remember every day the boss coming in and going, now remember, we are not an income generating department. So just keep that in mind when you're working.
That's probably had to be a great relief that you didn't have to worry about the burden of income generation.
We were a cost center, not an income center, not a revenue center. We were costing the company by being there.
Well, I will tell you this. So here's the thing you can think about too with technology, because we've been down this road before, right? So I don't know if you know, there's a great story where about 100 years ago when player pianos were created. Have you heard this story?
Yeah.
Did we talk about this? Yeah. So, where basically people thought player pianos were going to replace piano players.
No.
And then music guilds sued, companies that were making them. And of course that didn't happen. Player pianos became this weird novelty thing. But there was this huge scare, between live musicians that all of a sudden and then even when records in the 80s when VCRs were invented, we didn't have them in America for a long time because the entertainment industry blocked them.
It was beta.
Oh,
Yeah, they blocked them until like 1985, and it went up to the Supreme Court, and it was only one vote. It was Sandra Day O'Connor, whose one swing vote gave us VCRs in America. Everybody else in the world had them, but we didn't have it until like the mid 80s because the entertainment industry. This technology is gonna destroy the industry. People won't go to movies anymore. And it did it. So it changed things. And it did change these VCRs changed things. They became, DVDs. Now we have, digital recordings. It changed things. It maybe led the way to streaming that changed things. So that's what we need to be prepared for. It's not what it's going to destroy, but what it's going to change. Does that make sense?
yes, it sure does. But it'll be interesting to see how long it takes until it does replace people. I know I did read about corporations that are planning on using AI for writing, for corporate writing, and also for the clerical work. And
yeah, you know what else it's good for? I will tell you what else, and I've used it for this, is coding. So like, I do websites, and I was working on a coding problem. The website was crashing. I couldn't figure out what's going wrong. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, what's wrong with this code? I'm not kidding you. In 30 seconds, it debugged it. I'd been working on it for hours, trying to figure out what's going on, and it found the problem like in 30 seconds. So
wow.
I think people who are it couldn't write the code. It couldn't generate it. I had to generate the code, but it debugged it so fast it made my head spin, and so.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be what is good for you. You're absolutely right. There are things that it will be great for. I'm just very curious. These guys all met in Silicon Valley. They had this big meeting about AI to talk about the dangers of it, right? And there was the guy that met with Congress and said, well, I don't know. I made it, but you're going to have to figure out how to regulate it.
Oh yeah, I know the guy. He's pretty well. And here's my thing about America is like if we get all about it and we get scared, the rest of the world's going to run away with it. It's something we could lose out on if we're not careful. And we've seen this happen in other industries. Solar industries and other industries where the other countries went ahead, and America ends up playing catch up.
No, China's thrilled.
Yeah, you guys go crazy, man. We're not because they're not over there arguing about it. They're gonna do it.
They're not sitting around. They're going, geez, America's having all this difficulty with the idea of it. Come on, let's go. Seriously, you're absolutely right.
It's gonna change things. It's good, when people put computers on their desk, it changed like secretaries' roles. It changed administrative assistants. It didn't. Rid of them though, but it did change it,
Definitely. What's going to bother me is when you've got your little Roomba vacuum, the little thing roaming around your house. And I know Amazon has bought Roomba.
Really?
And they want to use it. They think that it's going to be a great gadget for them to start photographing videoing entire households on the interior under the guise of knowing then what people need. You know how Alexa listens to you in addition to talking to you and playing music for you and stuff? They listen to you and respond almost immediately to what you're saying.
Say that word again.
I don't know that one.
What was that?
She's on right now. Hey, Alexa, are you listening to us?
I'm designed to protect your privacy. I record audio only after your device detects the wake word or if the action button is.
Well, now get yourself a Roomba, and then between Alexis and the Roomba, Amazon will have total control.
An audio tone with sound. You can learn
Alexa, stop.
Amazon.com/Alexa.
See, Todd, and we won't speak her name.
She won't listen to me.
She and Todd have a very rough relationship.
Like, turn on certain things and she will not say anything.
He cusses at her, and I'm like, and then I'll speak nice to her. She does, like we've got her.
I'm not kidding.
We have her connected up to the lights in our house, and we have we can say which is fine. I don't care if Amazon knows when I turn my lights
But
off.
she-
I really don't
she-
do like.
she hates
No,
me.
I'm not gonna have any part of it. You know how I feel about Amazon. And,
Yeah.
they're doing some really crazy stuff, and I'm really not looking forward to having drones going through my very quiet neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm really not looking forward to that technology buzzing through here. Come on, really?
You don't have her at your house? Don't
What
do it. Don't do it.
You don't have
Do not do
whose
it.
name we shall not speak. You don't have her at your house.
Don't do
But
it.
I can silent her.
No, I do not have
Don't-
Alexa at my house. You know what I'd be saying to Alexa if I had her at my house?
She hates.
What would you say?
I would be yelling across the room, shut the F off. Knock the F off. I mean, I would be like, my
That's me.
husband would be.
That he does.
She-
Sure.
He's like,
I mean,
Alexa, turn on the effing lights, for God's sake.
She wouldn't do it.
It's dark down here. Todd's screaming at her. I'm like, Todd. And she's just like, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that, Todd. And you know why. she gets all Dave. She gets all Hal on him. Like, I'm sorry, Todd, I can't do that. You know?
And when I'm sarcastic, the same way.
Yeah, he's mean to her. And I'm like, and I guess this proves that maybe AI is more intelligent than we thought, because he's mean to her. Then I'll say, like, I've got her off right now. I'll say, Alexa, turn on the lights. And she goes, sure. She'll turn them on. But Todd, like, turn the effing lights on, Alexa, you bee. She's like,
kidding.
I'm sorry, Todd. I can't understand what you're.
Can we get a mail? You know what, Diane? I want a mail. Like, hey, dude, like, call dude. Hey,
Dave.
dude, turn on the light. What?
Hello, Todd. This is Dave.
Hi, Dave. That's highly irregular, Dave.
Todd,
Sorry,
Todd wants a
it's Dave.
dude.
I like dude.
He,
Call it dude.
he probably wants a gay dude. Like,
No.
well, I don't know if I can turn the lights on or what.
Call it Prince.
Well, I'm sure there's a gay Dave. You know.
I want to call it dude. Hey, dude, turn the light.
Todd.
Hey, dude.
I guess that just proves that maybe, I mean, actually, they can be very funny, some of the things that they say when you ask them and all that. But also, too, just so you'll know, the other area where I think people need to watch out for AI is graphics. That's what we use it for.
Oh, yeah.
Like our Jasper program, we can ask it, we can literally say, generate a graphic of Superman and King Kong on the Empire State Building fighting, and literally in cartoon format. Literally in 30 seconds, it can punch out a pretty decent cartoon, I mean, now, one of the guys on my team is pretty good with graphics, and he may have to touch it up a little bit, but they're pretty good. So if you're a graphics generator, that's another person I'd be worried about right now, or maybe figure out how you're going to adapt to the AI world, like administrative assistants learn to adapt to the AI world because they learn how to use computers. And all of a sudden their bosses are like, yeah, you fine, keep typing the letters, because the idea was the boss could probably do it himself now or whatever, or even with dictation and stuff. But so, I mean, there's a couple of areas where I think it's going to change, but I don't think it's going to be like the apocalypse right now. I mean, I don't know.
Hope not. Like I said, I hope that point comes a long time. And I don't want to sound like a dinosaur when it comes to technology, because I'm sure at some point I'm going to adapt to all of that. But as I get into a state where I'm not working and we're not working as much, I just don't want to. I mean, it's bad enough that every day I get 100 emails.
Right.
And, emails were supposed to make your day a lot easier. No.
Right. No.
Spend hours just flipping through emails and flipping through texts.
Right.
And everybody, all the doctors do it, everybody does it. And, it's a lot of work just to keep up with what's going on, because everybody's sending you texts and emails. And then you've got the phone calls. And before you know it, your whole day is trashed.
Right.
So,
well, there's a famous quote from somebody, one of my famous quotes, and I quote this on Biology of Technology. He said, we're getting to a point when our technology is outpacing our humanity.
it is.
I mean, and that person who said that was Albert Einstein. And I may have paraphrased it a little, but basically he said that, this is the point we're getting at. And the funny thing is, like, we're basically not that much different than we were 10, 20, 30,000 years ago. But, we're still very singular threaded, but technology is multi-threaded. That's its advantage. You can do several things at once. And so I think it's somehow we've created a world where we're supposed to be like on our phones, on our blah, 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 you know, and we're still pretty much a single threaded entity.
Exactly. And
Right.
it's exhausting. It's
Right.
just exhausting. So
What-
here we are in a state where, or in a place where I basically retired from a 40-year writing career, business writing career, and I'm still so unbelievably busy because of everything that comes in the mail, in the emails, in the
Right.
texts things to do that I need to do for utilities, for banking, for doctors, for this, for that. And I think I've just taken on another job.
Right.
So it's
Well, in the tech world, that's what they say when I read about this. That in the AI world, you know, remember they used to talk about the killer apps when the internet came out, and there have been some really cool apps like online banking is really a great thing. Even online shopping, as much as we like to rag on Amazon, we use it. You know, watching online videos, streaming. There's
Right.
lots of things that's happened that's really been cool. They're basically going to say one of the things AI could do is learn to help you handle these things. Like you could get a personalized if somebody along the way could come up with like this personalized AI that sat on your computer and it watched what you did and it figured out, oh, Diane reads this email from so-and-so is important. And one of those comes in, that AI prioritizes that for you, kind of learns your patterns. Then they're saying that way, but one way where AI could help ease the burden of technology.
That would be great. Now that I'd like.
Yeah.
I'd like, because there are so many emails I just immediately delete. And if they give you the option of not taking them anymore, I do that every time.
Get
What's
rid-
amazing is how many you'll say, don't send me anymore, and they just keep sending them.
They just ignore you. It's like Todd and Alexa, you know.
It's like, come on.
And then this just ignores you or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So
But don't if you ever get a chance, I mean, biologyoftechnology.com, I talk about this a lot. And, you know, so I haven't talked about it as much lately. Yeah, I talk about social media, you know, and, you know, I personally think social media is probably one of the more scary. To me, social media is scarier than AI. We could probably have a whole conversation about that. But
in fact, let me ask you something real quick because I know your time is limited. So, what do you think is wrong with Trump's what's it called? Truth Social?
Truth Social.
They keep talking about how he's having a lot of problems with that. What would those be?
So the word in the industry is that the people they hired to build it didn't know what they were doing. You know.
Nimrod. Really?
Yeah. That basically, yeah. Surprise, surprise. That's sort of if you like go to places like Reddit and look at the technology infrastructure they used, it was like done by people who, well, first of all, it was probably done by people that was more his age, and they needed to have young people who understand the more modern, you know, iterations of technology. So it just hasn't been designed very well for what I've read. I haven't looked at the technology behind it, to be honest with you. I've just read articles on Reddit about who designed this piece of POS, you know, it's a piece of crap, you know. Yeah. But ironically, to be honest with you, this is not the first time that's happened. In fairness, remember when the Affordable Care Act rolled out, they did design that. I mean, when they finally designed that website and they released it, the tech world were like, who did this piece of crap? You know, they like, so, you know, it's not the first time we've had government people try to build technology crappy, you know. But from what I understand about Truth Social, it's just built on a horrible platform and it just can't handle the what they ask it to do. Probably Trump didn't want to pay people to do it, to be honest.
Well, you know who did it? His campaign crew. He had people in his presidential campaign who, of course, believed that he is the rightful president, but he was paying them a lot of money in his campaign. And when he wanted to do Truth Social, he just brought them over.
Right.
They were just campaign guys.
That's what I heard. They weren't real technical people.
No.
I think I read something about that too. You know,
they were just campaign guys who said, "We can do this for you. Pay us, you know, a lot of money."
Yeah.
So I guess he got what he paid for.
Yeah, karma. I call it. I think it should be called Truth Social. I think it should be called Karma Social.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I told Tara when we started talking that we was going to need to start kind of thinking about an exit ramp around 6 o'clock and kind of approaching that a little bit. I would say don't be afraid of AI just yet. but it's good to be cautious. If you have Alexa, don't cuss at her like Todd does. She's very sensitive.
Don't have her. I don't intend to get her. I don't want any of that kind of stuff.
Probably for the, I know a lot of people who don't. We do use it obviously, but mostly for like utility stuff. Like we can have her turn on the lights in this room, or mostly we use it for like a light switch.
Yeah, well, I just go to the light switch.
Yeah, why don't we do that? But if you realize, like, our place is kind of sprawled out. It's like on 5 levels. So we got we got this thing where we can just say at night, good night, and she turns off all the lights, so we have it turned off.
Whoa.
Instead of us having to run upstairs and run down, because we're on a loft. So we're up on the top level, like all the, it's a loft that kind of goes down half levels.
Yeah.
And so at night, if we're like, oh, I forgot to turn the light off in the upstairs, and so we can just tell her good night, and whatever lights we have cut off, she cuts off. So that's kind of nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
I just kind of like the exercise of going.
I know we're being lazy, but that means we just have to go to the gym.
Yeah, I do that too. So.
All right.
That's how I've kept my girlish figure all these years.
Yeah, you look great.
I mean, all my girlfriends have gone to the ranch style 1 story. And I'm never in there like, come on, Diane, get with the program. You're over 60. And I'm like, and I'm never going to stop having stairs. Are you kidding? Come on.
We seem to have a lot of stairs too. So we get our exercise. We do get our exercise. We go up and down a lot. It's just nice at night when you're going to bed. And I forgot to turn
the phone. And all of a sudden you remember you got one.
I forgot. Lots of times we would just leave it on and waste power,
No, believe me, I know. I've had those moments myself where I'm like, oh, come on, Diane.
All right.
Down I go. But I'm just giving you guys a hard time. It's always so fun talking to you.
Good talking to you. I hope your back's going to be okay. You take care of yourself. Try not to fall anymore, or.
I know, that's what my husband's always saying. Come on, Diane, just don't fall. We're taking easier trails now.
I would take easier trails. Yeah, maybe get some different shoes. You don't walk those trails in pumps or anything, do you? Nothing like that, right? Okay. I just want to make sure.
No, not that. No flip-flops. No.
Oh, good. Proper footwear. Well, you take care of your back. Glad you're better. And unless there's anything else.
I'm doing great now. Whatever she did.
Yeah, you got your shots, man. You probably. Woo.
Too bad it wasn't dope.
I know.
So, anyway, thanks, guys. It's been great talking to you.
It's great talking to you.
Do it again soon.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. All right, we're signing off.
All right.
Bye.